Hello, we're here to make a video, an interview today of Dale Sharp. My name's Stan Bylsma. We want to get some information out once and for all on the EuroAD and try and answer all the questions that we get asked when we approach people to convince them that they need to have this EuroAD in their gas and the other additive in their engine. So we'll get right to it. Dale, tell me, why would somebody want to have these pills in their gas tank?
Faster starting, more throttle response, fuel economy, projected life, triple of injectors, O2 sensors, catalytic converters. At least double the life of piston rings and valve seats and valve stems.
And that's just from the fuel additive?
That's just from the fuel additive.
And what about the syringe? The syringe, you put this in
every oil change? It goes in every oil change, and it is at least 4 times film strength improvement or slipperier or lubricity improvement of any oil, regardless of whether it's inexpensive or very expensive. It still will improve lubricity by 4 times. So we're talking about cooler running, more pep, faster throttle response, and fuel economy. More torque and horsepower. Not huge, but enough to feel it. It oftentimes, when a car will shift down out of overdrive on a small hill, you'll find it won't, because that's how much torque the engine can gain by having the engine product. Fantastic. And it doubles when you use the fuel product in conjunction with.
So I was going to ask, do you recommend that they run one without the other, or should they really run them together?
Ideally, you would want to run both of them together because your economy percentage goes up accordingly. Your engine life increases accordingly, and it's just a really great combination to have them both together. But you can use just the pills if you wish, but the recommendation from 40 years of experience using other products, there is nothing that can touch this engine additive. It is the best in the world, made here in Ontario.
And this is why I'm bringing you to the interview, because you do have 40 years experience with this. That's fantastic. So what kind of fuel mileage increase can we expect?
15% from the pill alone is very common. Occasionally we get 20 out of like a 6.5 GM diesel, for instance. We hit 20%. We've just got 11% out of a DD15 Detroit highway truck running 60,000 pounds gross over a 3-month trial period by an owner-operator, 11% improvement. Last year he spent $108,000 on fuel. So this is serious money in return.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And is there a difference between gasoline or diesel as far as the increase in economy or fuel mileage?
Diesel can actually be slightly more than the gasoline, particularly on a TDI, Isuzu, cube vans, can be a higher response than gasoline.
And gasoline, eh? Fantastic. So I know that if you run high octane, you can actually run the low octane fuel now as a result of this.
That's right. If you have to have 91 required, we have lots of vehicles, BMW, Audi, Lincoln Navigator, Mercedes, all running 87 octane with this product. They're and reportedly an improvement of 15% on a X5 BMW with no difference in performance using 87 with this product.
Fantastic. Now, that almost sounds like you're changing ignition timing. Is the computer recognizing this, or should we wait until the second half of this video where we get into the really heavy-duty technology on that?
No, the product does change flame travel so that the computer doesn't get confused, and you get the same response with 87 instead of 91.
So should we change the ignition timing? Should we reprogram the, or run a different program on the computer or anything just to change the timing? Or does it adjust itself?
No, the computer will learn by itself. Some that take longer, some will learn very quickly. Other vehicles take much longer.
All right.
But on a distributor car, having lots of experience prior to computers, I would move the timing ahead 2 degrees myself.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do move the timing ahead, whether it be from a computer or manually, that is increase in torque.
Mm-hmm.
The sooner you can fire the fuel with a detonation, the more torque and horsepower and economy that you have.
Mm-hmm. Great. Now the timing isn't isn't being affected in a diesel. You're just getting a better burn.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. So you're getting less waste. So that means that you would get less pollution. Then.
Now, one of the interesting happening in a diesel engine, they have EGR systems today, meaning that they put exhaust gas particulate back into the combustion chamber. So when we reduce that, and it can be up to 70 to 90%, that's less particulate going back in the combustion chamber, meaning that that is not interfering with the oxygen available of the next burn. Also, to that particulate some of it gets past the rings into the oil, and if you only have 30% of the particulate in your combustion chamber that you had previously, that means there's less particulate, soot, if you wish, going to the engine oil.
Not to mention the longer life for the filter, the DPF
That's
filter,
right.
the particulate filter.
Now, this product also increases compression seal, and your oil from your engine provides
the
that.
Syringe would be doing that, or
Yeah, both of them. Both of them. The syringe is 600 degree heat tolerant, and most oils that people use are 360 degree. So,
and where would you find the highest temperature in the engine? The hottest spot in the whole engine?
The hottest spot is the top ring at 490 degrees on everyday driving, not on heavy towing, not on racing, but everyday driving, just to go get the groceries. The top piston ring runs at 490 degrees.
So considerably above what most oils are.
Yes.
What they can handle.
Yes.
Fantastic. Should I be comfortable using this on a motorcycle?
Any internal combustion engine, 2-stroke, 4-stroke, doesn't matter. Diesel,
so my
gas.
Small airplane, if I become a millionaire, I can put it in there?
We are not approved, but it is an internal combustion engine.
Yeah. So jet engine.
Yes, it would work on a jet engine too, but again, we're not aviation approved, so if you wanted to use it, we wouldn't stop you,
so
but we're not promoting
before
it.
the FAA would ever approve that, right? Yeah, I know about that. Now, I get asked this question all the time, and of course I know the answer. What about a vehicle that's running on natural gas or propane? Go ahead and answer that one.
We can't help you with the fuel, but the engine product, the combustion chamber on natural gas and propane has a tendency to run hotter. And specialty oil companies make a specific oil for natural gas engines. A lot of these taxi cabs that run propane and natural gas are not aware of these specialty oils. So if they were to put a syringe in their oil, they would have a far greater heat tolerance in that top ring area. And so it would be smart for them to use the syringe.
I remember in the 80s when people were really starting to convert over to propane, they were burning the valves out and stuff like that.
That's
so
right. Yeah,
that's always been a concern, that it burns so much hotter. That's right. Is it remotely possible in any way, shape, or form that any of this can hurt an engine?
No, we
I know of one product out there that it does not necessarily do any good to your engine. You know what I mean? Like, I know you get a 50-50 chance, pardon the pun, that it may hurt or benefit your engine.
Yeah. We cannot. The fact is, you're doing damage without our product. That is the technical fact.
Great answer. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because I get a lot of, I don't want to hurt my engine. Well, you're hurting it now. The fact is, you're hurting it now. Because when we supply a less fuel burnt to give the same amount of power with a lubricant that's going to lubricate valves and rings, how can it possibly ruin anything? It's impossible. We've got thousands of vehicles worldwide, and we have a big insurance policy, and it's never been claimed on.
Yeah,
because
Fantastic.
we cannot harm an engine.
Fantastic. Now, would it make any sense to use any other additive in conjunction with this?
No, I've
This is all you
already
need.
tested that feasibility, and
I know
sometimes
you
they're
have.
not compatible.
Yeah.
But you don't need another additive. This is the best of the best.
Yeah.
I sold 5 different company additives prior to finding out about this product, and nothing can come close. This is 4 times better than the next best one I know about, and that's wonderful because it's made here in Ontario.
It's one of the few that pays a profit every time you use it.
That's right. The payback
Everything
on
else-
this is marvelous.
Yeah, everything else you're lucky to get your money back. Immediately.
You basically have to learn how to slow down using these products. You have to get off the gas, or you will be going faster than you normally go, and that's happened to many, many people.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had a few testimonies
Yeah.
like that myself.
Yeah.
It's surprising how fast some people.
You have to learn how to get
Right,
off of the accelerator.
That's right. That's right. So I get asked all the time, do I need to run the fuel pills every time I fuel?
Sure. We change the molecular structure of the fuel. We speed up flame travel. You have your compression seal. If you don't put it in, that doesn't happen. I have people tell me occasionally that, I don't need it anymore. My car's running beautiful. And then they'll phone me back 2 weeks later and say, my fuel economy just went down. I said, well, there now you know what I know. You need to put it in each time.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the other questions I was going to ask, but it's pretty much covered already. How does this compare to its competitors?
There is no competition, and believe me, I've tried them all. I know them all of North America's products, and there is nothing that is cost effective or has a larger response in torque and horsepower and longevity of the engine than this product here.
Fantastic. Is there anything you can think of that I haven't covered that people might want to know?
Oh, air quality. Emission tests
Yes,
easily
that's
passed
right,
after
yeah.
this.
Yeah. So
Even if
some
you're-
cars on the verge.
Even if you're passing with flying colors already, we will still lower that emission no matter what the numbers are. We have a
Fantastic.
Lincoln Navigator that has 600,000 kilometers on it now, still passing emissions with no problem whatsoever. Never had an injector, an O2 sensor, or a cat replaced. 600,000.
That's hard to imagine. That's really hard to imagine.
It was sold at 500,000, and now there's 600 on it, and the thing is still running beautifully.
Fantastic. And so it's never changed injectors?
Never.
Wow. All right, so that is the first part of this interview with Dale. Now I want to kind of get a little bit more technical for laboratories and people who really understand what's going on with additives. So we will put something on your screen to tell you how far to advance to the next segment, which is the test where we take the syringe and add it to oil and try to see what it takes to stop a bearing with this mixed in with the oil. And so for the second half of this, Dale, I was wondering if you can go into detail, the technical part of what's going on with the fuel pill. It's way above my head, and I can't remember all the numbers that you have in your head and whatnot, but what's really going on inside the engine when you put this fuel pill in?
Well, first, what the product is, it's an injector cleaner. That was the first reason, and a carbon remover. So that's what it does. It cleans your injectors to mist, and if an injector is misting, the fuel economy and the horsepower is better. The emissions are less because misted fuel will fire faster than a fuel that is not
droplets.
misting. So that's number one thing it does. Removes all carbon from the combustion chamber. Carbon is friction to flame travel. If you don't have carbon there, the flame can travel more efficiently.
Sure.
The next thing we do, we reduce the molecular structure of the fuel so that the molecule is smaller. Therefore, the reaction of flame is faster from molecule to molecule.
Okay.
The next thing is a compression seal. Anytime you increase compression seal, either from a very expensive lubricant or from our product, you gain torque. And then there's an oxygenation process with each squirt of fuel. So when you add those points together, you have the results of our product. Increased fuel economy, lower emissions, torque, and horsepower.
Fantastic. And film strength. Can you explain film strength?
Film strength is the ability of a lubricant to not let metal touch. The higher the number, the less wear. The higher the number usually means more heat tolerance as well. So buying a cheap oil or not putting our product in with a cheap oil is not the way to go. To raise your quality of oil, and if you wish not to do that, then our product will bring a inexpensive oil up to a grade of a much better quality oil.
Now, here in Canada, in Ontario, we had a brutal winter.
Yes.
And I've been told that it takes up to 15 minutes to get oil up to the rockers on a diesel engine that's not been plugged in. With the cheap Rotella or whatever low-grade oil that you find in the truck stops and whatnot, and the lube shops. Okay, if you put the syringe in with the cheap oil, will that help it flow in the extreme cold like that?
Now, we don't help flow, but
exactly.
But what's left behind is film strength on the parts
from the last time you shut it off,
which
Gotcha.
helps in lubricating until the oil gets started again.
Yeah. But really, they should be running a really good synthetic, like Amsoil, and I think Mobil One sells a really good. Is it Mobil One that sells a really good synthetic? There's one other company that sells a.
Well, I don't know if Mobil One is very good, but I know that Amsoil is an excellent choice.
Yeah. Fantastic. So Amsoil on its own has a higher film strength.
Amsoil was the first oil that is a full synthetic on the market in 1972, and they have prided themselves in being the best of the best, and they keep trying to be the best. And so you can't make a mistake running with Amsoil.
Yeah, and then this will raise the bar again.
Oh, this improves Amsoil substantially. Any oil.
Yeah.
There is more expensive oils out there, and even those, the quality of that results of the lubrication of any oil is improved substantially. And it's hard for anybody to believe how much difference there is. But when you get in your car and you've driven for a little while and you wonder why you have to keep coming off the gas, or you'll be speeding, there's a good result answered right there. There's the proof right there.
Exactly. Yeah, I get some incredible testimonies. From people that really, they have no idea what's going on with their car. They don't know their fuel mileage. They just look at their gauge and stuff, and they can tell just by looking at their gauge, their fuel gauge, the increased fuel economy. And people just like, wow, I have to really slow down. I have to watch my speed now. And it's nice because it's completely unprompted. So
I had a Ford Harley Davidson 011, a 6.4. 2 days later, he told me he had more horsepower.
Fantastic.
And this guy is a Dale Earnhardt. He's really heavy-footed. 2 weeks later, he told me he was getting 50 Ks a tank, which I was really surprised with.
That's
because I thought he would get zero.
Yeah,
because he drives really aggressively.
Yeah.
So even a heavy foot, you'll save fuel. And the other beauty of it all is you have less wear. I mean, if you're going to, I have tow trucks say to me, "Oh, we have to chase," but they use junk oil and beat the heck out of their engine. If they were to use this product here, they'd be way ahead.
Yeah, and they put a lot of miles on. They do a lot of idling. Yeah. You would think that they'd be the first ones on board. Yeah. So, anything else in the technical end that you think? Let's say there's a lab, like some big trucking fleets have labs that do nothing but look into ways to save their company money. Is there any information you could give them that would help them out, or know where to look, or what to test for, or why this works, why they need this?
Well, they'd have to do tests, and the product has to be applied to the fuel all the time until you've put at least 10,000 kilometers on it, because some of the highway trucks' computers are slow to learn.
Yeah.
And you have to have an employee that is going to be religious about putting this in the fuel.
Yeah.
If you miss that interrupts the computer's learning process.
Sure.
So any big rig will respond to this, but you have to do your trials properly.
So the computer is probably changing the ignition timing, and I mean, you know how crucial that is with a diesel, right? But it's
Oh,
changing
well,
the
we do
ignition
fire
timing
the
probably?
flames sooner on this.
Yeah.
This has a similar effect of cetane.
Okay.
And what happens is the computer gets that figured out after a while, and it leans out the burn,
Yeah, yeah.
or at least the fuel supply. It doesn't lean the burn out. The end result is less fuel creates the same power, and
Yeah.
with less emissions.
Fantastic. Now, I used to run a hydrogen unit on my own tractor trailers, and basically it enriched the air intake with hydrogen and oxygen. Do you think that this will still make a difference running a hydrogen
Yes.
unit? Are you familiar with those hydrogen units?
Yes, I am.
And you
Yeah.
think it'll still make a difference with them?
Yes.
So it's still worthwhile for somebody who's already running the hydrogen to add this product.
That's right. Yep.
Fantastic.
Any internal combustion engine, we're going to improve it no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
It works
So
oh, by the way, it works in conjunction with the DEF.
Oh,
It
beautiful.
will not interfere with the DEF performance.
Fantastic.
DEF goes in after the combustion chamber. Our product goes in with the fuel into the combustion chamber.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think that pretty much kind of wraps it up then. So after this, there should be a video on showing Dale here how amazing the syringe is on a bench test. So make sure you watch that, because that is fascinating. And hopefully this answers all your questions. If not, there should be some contact information coming up on your screen, and you can ask us directly through email or phone numbers. And hopefully this was convincing enough for you to get on board ASAP and start saving some money, you know, extend the life of your vehicle and extend the life of your engine.
Well, the car runs smoother, quieter, and it pulls better. It's just amazing if you enjoy having your car run better. This is a very inexpensive way to find out.
Yeah, and a general kind of rule of thumb is like for a car, between oil changes, you'll end up with about a free tank of fuel between oil changes.
That part I don't know, but it's
so
15%,
it
pretty
runs
much
you-
across the board.
I think the retail price, it runs 2.6 cents for each of these pills, and the payback is about 6-7 cents per pill. So it actually pays you to use it. You know, we had one test tractor trailer, and the cost was $7 a day, and the return was $49 a day, or $63 a day was the savings. You know, so it was a 9 times return. Go ahead and ask your bank to compete with that.
I have a highway rig. He's been with me for 4 years. He's put about 450,000 Ks on his Mercedes car hauler, and we did 5 of these syringes in his engine oil, and he gained $25 to $35 a day fuel savings, depending on wind and hills.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's amazing, eh? Now, one other thing. So we put the syringe in the oil. You do this at the oil change. So for a heavy truck, it would be 4 to 5 of these, right?
Yes.
Now, you go, say, 50,000 kilometers between oil changes in a heavy truck. Now, you send a sample out to the lab. With this in it, it should technically say that it's not used up yet, that it still has...
Yeah, we've had reports where the oil's still good for more.
Okay, and how many K did they say was left on it?
Well, now, the only experience I've had is with a very expensive oil.
Okay.
And we had more miles on it than I care to mention here because it's rather unbelievable. But the lab report came back that we had 20,000 left, and we thought we were already over it.
Okay.
So
So
it
if,
can
now an oil
add.
change, I know the good AMS oil is around $500 for a tractor trailer, right? At the dealer cost, right? At the wholesale distributor cost, right? It runs either a little bit over $500 if I'm not mistaken. So if
Okay.
you put 4 or 5 of these syringes in at the time of the oil change, after you get a sample back saying it's good for, say, 25,000 kilometers yet, do you think this would probably...
You could add 10 on. Like Amsoil's best is a 60,000 K oil on a big rig.
Okay.
So you could put another 10 on it with this in there.
So if you change the filter to a 2-micron filter, which is important, right? You gotta go down to a 2-micron filter in order to be able to really, get the most out of this. So you change the filter, don't change the oil, put more syringes in. You're saying that you should be able to be good for another 35,000 kilometers right?
Yep.
Then send another sample out, see what it's good for, and you should be able to add more of these again. So this is going to run you around $90 instead of $500. Okay, so you spend $90 on the syringe, put this in your engine, and go another 35, 45,000 kilometers. You know, carry on this way. You can almost go indefinitely with that one good oil if you keep adding the syringes. Could you not? And changing the filter and running a high quality filter.
I don't want to answer that.
Yeah, that's really putting you on the you know, on a scary ledge there, right? But you could. I mean, you just test it yourself and see how far you can go.
Well, myself, right? I put 24 to 30,000 Ks on my oil.
Yeah.
But it's designed to go that far.
But do you send a sample out to a lab to
no,
be tested?
No, I don't.
So you just change it because that's an old habit.
I changed it around 28, 30,000, but I put one of these in to start. Pardon? That's in a car. Yeah. And I put 10 mil in extra of the syringe every 5,000 K.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it'd be interesting to send that out to a lab.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that you should be able to run for a very, very long time without having to do an oil change if you just keep adding this and run good filters.
You could extend your oil change substantially. That's right.
Yeah. So maybe someday we'll have that in a later video where somebody who's done this testing and see, you know, how many miles you can actually get out of a high quality oil by adding this.
Well, I do have a highway truck that goes 110,000 on an oil change.
Fantastic. And why does he change the oil?
Because it's at the end of the recommended mileage, and the lab.
But has he sent it out to a
lab?
Yes,
the lab test. We did the lab test at 90,000, and they said it was good for another 20. So yes.
So if you add this to it, you can easily get another.
No,
30
we
or
already
40.
had we probably had 6 syringes in by the time it hit 90,000.
Sure, but how long before the test did you have the syringe in?
Pretty much when we put 4 syringes in when the engine was new, like the oil was new.
So, but if you did that at 90,000 kilometers, and they said it was still good for a little bit, would that not dramatically increase the length of the life of it again? Because it's going to raise the film strength, increase the lubricity of it. So
well, this man was not running a 2-micron filter, so I wanted him to change it.
Oh, I see. I see. So it's a safety precaution more than anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Fantastic.
With a 2-micron filter, you can substantially increase. Like every manufacturer of those filters will tell you that the numbers that they have on extended oil changes. They all brag about longer oil life.
Yeah. Now, if they just run a regular filter, they just do the regular oil changes, you know, this is just going to give them fuel mileage. You don't have to run the 2-micron filter. Do what you've always been doing, you know, and this will just give you longer engine life and better fuel mileage.
That's right.
You know, so
substantial. This could be triple engine life.
Yeah.
It's so good. The film strength on this is quite unbelievable until you try it.
There is a mining company that's using this, right? Now, has there been any updated information? They went 18 months without changing any injectors, and they're originally, prior to using this product, they were doing at least a set of injectors per month on one piece of equipment, correct?
Yeah, they went for over a year without touching any other machines. A big mining company in Sweden.
Yeah.
And one of their machines every month had to have injector cleaned, and then when they started out with our product, I understand it's 10% of their fuel economy on those huge mining dump trucks.
Okay, yeah. Like
and they save 10%. Well, they also burn, I think it was 1,200,000 liters of fuel a month per truck. So 10% of that amount of fuel is a lot of money.
Trucks. Yeah.
Plus, they didn't have to change the injectors.
Yeah. So an injector that might last a year is going like 2 years now.
My experience has been triple injector life. No problem. I've had a company, a shop that repairs trucks, actually come in and sell the product because he was observing one of his customers, which was my customer, and he noticed that this guy had a C15 cat and he hadn't touched the injectors in 800,000. Everything was just running so beautifully. So he started to sell the product.
Fantastic. And he tried to sell you on it. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Dale. I really appreciate it. And hopefully someday we can, find out get some more information and do a little bit more and add to this video. But in the meantime, hopefully that covers everybody's questions. Thanks a lot.
Today we're going to demonstrate how our product creates film strength, which reduces engine friction, engine heat, increases compression seal, and you gain fuel economy from using this product in your oil. So I'm going to create some friction here with a popular brand oil and show you the before and after. This is the before. This is a Timken bearing tester. We'll put this oil in the machine.
What are you doing?
This creates. And we have two surfaces here. Ladder. We have two surfaces creating friction, and I'm going to put these 1 pound weights on here, which transfers 35 pounds of pressure on a small frictional area. Three weights. We broke film at 3 weights. Now this next test is the same oil with our product in the oil. We're going to do the same thing again, and we'll see what kind of film strength we get this time. Now we're going to apply the weights the same as we did before with our product in the same oil. There's 3 weights, that's when the last oil failed. There's 6, that's twice. There's 9, that's 3 times. 12, 4 times. There's 20 weights from 3 weights. No smoke, no heat, no sound. Film strength is still holding strong. The metal has not touched each other. Phenomenal reduction in friction.